Karen had my clearly marked police patrol car towed out of my own driveway, insisting it was an unauthorized commercial vehicle. What she did not expect was that when my police chief showed up and explained the situation, she learned she had just taken a city-owned law enforcement vehicle. Towing a squad car is not an HOA rule violation. It is felony grand theft auto. My name is Walter, and I am a patrol officer with the Richmond, Virginia Police Department. I have served for 11 years, working different shifts and assignments throughout the city. Like many officers, I take my assigned patrol vehicle home after my shift ends. This is department policy. It allows faster emergency response times and increases visible police presence in residential neighborhoods. What Karen did not realize when she ordered my patrol car to be towed was that she had caused the theft of city property that was clearly identified as a police vehicle. That decision carries serious criminal consequences. I live in Riverside Gardens, a subdivision built in 2010 on the west side of Richmond. The neighborhood includes families, retirees, and working professionals. The HOA handles basic maintenance and generally stays out of residents' daily lives. I have lived here for 6 years. My neighbors know I am a police officer, and no one has ever complained about my patrol car being parked in my driveway. The vehicle is a marked Richmond police cruiser. It is white with blue striping, has a light bar on the roof, the city seal on the doors, and the word police clearly visible in multiple places. There is no confusion about what it is. It is obviously a police vehicle. For 6 years, this was never a problem. That changed when Karen moved in 4 houses down from me 3 months ago. She had golden blonde hair and almost immediately began complaining about the neighborhood. Too many children playing outside, dogs barking, people parking boats or work vehicles on their own property. Soon, her focus turned to my patrol car. 2 weeks after she moved in, I found a note on my windshield. It read that commercial vehicles were not allowed in driveways under HOA rules and that I needed to park the vehicle somewhere else. I ignored it. Police patrol cars are not commercial vehicles. They are government emergency vehicles. Even if there were limits on commercial vehicles, law enforcement vehicles are almost always exempt under HOA rules and state law. A week later, another note appeared. This one said, "Final warning. Remove the commercial vehicle or it will be towed." At that point, I contacted the HOA property manager, a man named Dennis, to clear things up. I told him I was receiving notes about my patrol car and asked if there was an issue. Dennis told me there was no problem from the HOA's standpoint. He explained that a new resident had been complaining, but that the HOA had already informed her that police vehicles are not subject to commercial vehicle restrictions. He told me I was fine to continue parking as I always had. I thanked him for the clarification and believed that would be the end of it. Karen had been told directly by the HOA that my vehicle was allowed. I assumed she would accept that and move on. I was wrong. I worked a night shift from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. I came home Thursday morning exhausted and parked my patrol car in my driveway like always. I went inside, showered, and went to sleep. Around 3 o'clock that afternoon, I woke up and looked out the window. My patrol car was gone. I went outside immediately, thinking maybe the department had picked it up for maintenance or reassignment. There was no note, no message, and no indication that the department had taken it. I called my sergeant and asked if the department had retrieved my unit. He told me no and asked what happened. I explained that the car had been there that morning and was now gone. He told me that was a serious issue and said he would make some calls. 5 minutes later, he called me back and told me my patrol vehicle had been towed by Richmond Recovery Towing at 11:30 that morning. It was being held at their impound lot on Midlothian Turnpike. I asked who authorized the tow. He said the towing company reported that an HOA representative requested the vehicle be removed for a parking violation. At that point, my blood pressure spiked. The HOA had already confirmed my vehicle was permitted. A marked police car had been towed without authorization. My sergeant instructed me to go to the impound lot immediately to confirm the vehicle was secure. He also informed me that the police chief had been notified. This was considered theft of city property. I drove to the impound lot in my personal vehicle. The manager, a heavyset man in his 50s, met me at the gate. I identified myself as Officer Walter Hayes with Richmond PD and told him they had my patrol vehicle, which had been towed from my residence without authorization. He explained they received a call from an HOA president requesting removal of a commercial vehicle and carried out the tow based on that request. I asked if they verified that the HOA had authority to tow a police vehicle. He admitted they do not usually verify HOA authority and simply execute the tow when requested. I told him the vehicle was city-owned, clearly marked as a police car, and had been towed without proper authorization. He appeared uncomfortable and said they could release the vehicle once I paid the towing and storage fees. I told him I would not pay for an unauthorized tow of city property and that the vehicle would be released immediately or they would be charged with theft. He said he needed to call the owner. I told him to call whoever he needed, but the vehicle was leaving the lot without payment. After making the call, he was instructed to release the vehicle immediately. He handed me the keys and an employee drove the patrol car to the gate. I inspected the vehicle and found scratches on the front bumper from the tow equipment and minor undercarriage damage consistent with improper towing. I documented everything with photographs and drove the vehicle back home. I parked it in my driveway and called my sergeant to report that the vehicle had been recovered with minor damage. The next morning, I was instructed to report to the police chief's office at 9 a.m. with all documentation. I met with Chief Daniels and Captain Morrison and provided a full account, including the notes Karen left and confirmation from HOA management that my vehicle was permitted. Chief Daniels listened carefully and became visibly angry. He stated that someone had towed a marked police vehicle from an officer's private residence without authorization, which constituted theft of city property. He asked who the HOA president was. I told him her name was Karen Stevens and provided her address. Chief Daniels ordered a full investigation and directed Captain Morrison to ensure appropriate charges were filed. Detective Lawrence was assigned to the case. He reviewed towing records showing Karen had called the company, claimed to be HOA president, and reported a commercial vehicle violation. The towing company did not verify her authority or confirm the nature of the vehicle. Detective Lawrence also obtained a statement from Dennis confirming Karen had been explicitly told police vehicles were exempt and that she had no authority to order a tow. 3 days later, Detective Lawrence and another officer went to Karen's home. I was on duty at the time, but later received a full report. Karen admitted ordering the tow, but insisted she believed the vehicle violated HOA rules. Detective Lawrence explained that police vehicles are government emergency vehicles, not commercial vehicles, and that she had been told this already. She insisted she was HOA president and had authority. Detective Lawrence informed her she did not, and that she had caused the unauthorized removal of a city-owned police vehicle. He explained that under Virginia law, theft of property valued over $1,000 is grand larceny. A police patrol vehicle is worth approximately $40,000. Karen was arrested and charged with felony grand larceny of city property, carrying a potential sentence of up to 20 years. Her attorney argued she believed she had authority, but evidence showed she had been clearly informed otherwise. The prosecutor emphasized that Karen knowingly ordered the theft of a police vehicle, caused damage, and interfered with law enforcement duties. Karen eventually accepted a plea deal. She pleaded guilty to unauthorized use of property and was sentenced to 12 months in jail, with 6 months suspended, 2 years of supervised probation, $2,500 in restitution, a $5,000 fine, and 200 hours of community service. The HOA board removed her as president immediately and issued a formal apology to me and the police department. A retired firefighter named Thomas was elected as the new president and personally apologized, stating full support for officers parking patrol vehicles at home. Karen served 4 months in jail, was released on probation, sold her house, and moved out of Richmond. I later heard she relocated to North Carolina. The incident became widely known within the department. Several officers expressed support, and my chief referenced the case during a community meeting to explain that patrol vehicles in neighborhoods are meant to enhance public safety. The towing company was penalized by being removed from the city's approved rotation for 6 months for failing to verify authority. I still live in Riverside Gardens and still park my patrol car in my driveway. The new neighbors introduced themselves, and the husband, a retired Navy veteran, told me he appreciated having a police officer nearby. My patrol car still has minor damage from the unauthorized tow, but it serves as a reminder that attempting to control others without understanding the law can lead to serious consequences. If you are a law enforcement officer who has dealt with HOA harassment over take-home vehicles, share your story in the comments. Send this to any officers facing pushback and remind them that most communities support visible law enforcement. And subscribe for more stories where people learn that some property cannot be towed without consequences, especially when that property belongs to the government and is protected by law.